Alright, let's start right off with a channel that I think you should check out, Gator's World. It's a channel that I watch. It happens to be someone that's a subscriber on my own channel, but and I just don't shout out to him just because he's on my channel. I happen to like his channel, and you might too. Last time I saw a video from him, he was talking about the jet stream and how cold it is right now, which obviously is relevant at this time. There seems to be a lot of places that are cold, even some places that normally aren't cold. He's up in Canada, so I think it's a channel you should check out. Seen another video of his where he went to a friend's place and he was building a chair out of a log, basically out of a short piece of log, and making a chair out of it. And I'm interested to see the finished product, and I think he's going to go back in the spring and film that, and I hope he does. But I look forward to seeing that. So check him out. You may find that you like his stuff. I do. So speaking of cold weather and relevant things, I'm going to continue talking about how I combat that cold weather and gear for cold weather. And what I have today is a pair of insulated pants that I wear. They are NW600Ps. They're made by a company called Le Bonville, and I will put that in the description. Definitely something you should check out. I've been buying stuff. Again, it's Le Bonville. I don't know how well you can see that tag. I've been buying from them for a number of years, and I've actually had 3 pairs of their nylon pants. I will say that I like the way that they used to make them better than the newest ones. I believe the newest ones are good, and that's why I buy them. But I kind of favored the old school ones with the more elastic waist, and it had like a little bit of a riser in the back, and the chaps were built in. These, you put the chaps in. There are certain advantages to that, most definitely. Because for one thing, you could replace them if you needed to. But at the same time, they don't tend to get dirty and matted down. I don't know how many of you know that a set of chaps, whether they've been cut or worn out on the outside, if the material is matted inside, it's no longer able to do its job. And there's a few ways to combat that. And with this system, pretty much they don't get dirty. The chaps themselves, the chap material, the protection material doesn't get dirty, so it tends to keep that fluffiness, or shouldn't get dirty. I guess that's the way I'd put it. And speaking of them not having an elastic waistband anymore, and don't let that be a deterrent from buying them. They're an excellent product. I just prefer that system from before. You're going to want to have either a belt or a set of suspenders. I'm not a huge suspender guy, but for this set, for these pants and this setup, I highly recommend that you use that. A belt will work, but in this case I prefer the suspenders. I would not suggest not having one or the other. You got to have at least one, I think, because you're going to have to buy them. For one thing, you're going to want to buy them a size bigger than you need. They run small, so at least one size bigger. And the way their sizes run, they go from a 32 to a 34 to a 36. They don't do odd waist sizes. They do even numbers. So if you wear a 32 normally, you're going to jump up to a 34, but it's really not going to be jumping up to a 34 for a couple different reasons. I don't believe personally that they run really true to size, for one thing. For another thing, you're going to be wearing them over something. I buy a 34. You may be someone that wears a 32 and you end up buying a 36 because of what you wear underneath them. I wear a base layer number 3 under mine, and that's it, because the system works so well between the two things, that's what I need. You know, the other day it was 39 below zero was the wind chill factor, and I was perfectly warm with these pants and nothing more than a base layer underneath them. It wasn't that I could get by with that, it was that it was actually, you know, plenty warm enough for that. The suspenders, by the way, are actually Le Bonville suspenders. I think they're pretty good, and they're not expensive at all. Last time I checked, last time I bought a pair. They come in red, they come in black. I don't know if they come in any other color, but those are the two colors I remember. I got a pair of red ones here. They're the button-on style, and these are set up for those buttons. I don't recommend the clip-on style. I'm sure they would work, but I highly recommend the button style, because they're set up for it, for one thing. These are adjustable suspenders. I think they have a couple. They actually have a couple different size ranges that you can get, and I think it is only 2 sizes, you know, to cover everything, and it pretty much covers everybody. The suspenders, what I like about these suspenders is they're stretchy on the bottom and they're stretchy on the top. Some suspenders aren't set up that way. They'll have either this bottom half will be stretchy or this top half will be stretchy sometimes, and not both. And I find that they adjust better if they're stretchy on both sides of it. The next thing we're going to talk about is that these chaps, I say chaps, but they're actually just the inserts, okay, with the Kevlar in them and stuff. These pants actually have snaps that these go to, and they snap in. I'm not going to put both snaps on, but they snap in and snap out. And they have a snap up here, and then they have a snap down here. And then if you reach down into the leg, they have a sleeve that they go in. You get them laid in there flat, and they go down. I highly recommend that whether you're a weekend warrior, homeowner, or professional logger, or arborist, or tree trimmer, or anybody that really works with a chainsaw, if you're gonna be running a chainsaw with these, get the inserts, use them. The old excuse of, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a safety Sally, but the old excuse of, well, they're too warm, and that doesn't work too well in the winter. They actually add insulating properties to it because you have those in there. Also, it's that much more padding if you have to kneel down, and maybe the surface you kneel down in is hard. So it definitely has its benefits, and it's not that bulky. You know, oftentimes in the summer you complain because of heat, but there's also chaps that are made for warmer weather too, chap pants, which I highly recommend you check out a brand that works for you as far as that's concerned. You know, I'm a strong proponent of wear your chaps. But having said that, I will say that there is some safety gear that I am kind of lackadaisical about myself because I don't like wearing them. Safety glasses, I don't like wearing them. They get fogged up, they get scratched. There's a few different things. I suppose if I got a new pair every week, I'd probably be more apt to wear them. And I know if Joe's watching, he's going to give me a hard time about that. And by no means am I suggesting that you don't wear them. I'm just being honest about the way I am about them. So let's talk about the one thing I kind of don't like about these. If you notice, they got a drawstring here. This little black clip's not normally on there. I put them on there when I buy them, after I buy them, because I prefer that. One of the biggest things I don't like about the drawstring, my mother my mother was a seamstress. Um, so I know a little bit about that stuff. Because she was very good at it, and sometimes she could be meticulous about things that she did. But what they do is when they make these, they put the drawstrings in, but they sew them. The seam goes right across here and gets stitched into that thing. So when you're pulling on it, you're pulling on one side. And maybe they'll tell you they did that on purpose so that the string doesn't just accidentally come out one end. You know, like when you pull one through your hoodie or whatever. But personally, I don't like that. I've had to rip one out and then replace it. I don't like how these fasten, especially because they normally don't come with they don't come with that little black piece. So when you go to cinch them up around your boots, you cinch them and you do like a knot, tie them off. Well, what I do is I put these little things on there, and then I tighten them up, and then I'll just do a regular overhand knot to back it up, and I'll do 3 of those to shorten this up so it's not dragging. But I wish that they would use a better cuff system. Even a set of snaps would be nice. You know, so you fold it and you snap it. Although this is more adjustable because it can fit a few different sizes because you just cinch it up to what you need to. But they could very easily put a couple snaps on there, so you could do a couple different sizes for snapping. But really, that's one of my only pet peeves. The other thing I will tell you is, and you're going to think I'm nuts, is that I'll even wear these and then wear regular wraparound chaps over the top of them. Because again, it's winter time, and I'm not really worried about getting overheated. And the other nice benefit of chaps, it's not what they intended them for, but they do work well for that, is that not only will they add extra padding, but they also wear on your pants is reduced because you have the chaps, and it's the chaps that are getting the wear. Not that it's a good thing either, but guess what else? The grease and stuff that you might get into while you're working with your chainsaw, which does happen occasionally, you get a little oily and dirty, that ends up on your chaps, not on your pants so much. So they don't break down your pants as much. And don't get me wrong, these things are rugged, and especially if you're using them for something like snowmobiling or shoveling snow, you're not really going to get them dirty anyway, but they're pretty rugged. But that just gives you more wear and tear, having that extra layer on there. So in another video, I will warn you, I am going to get a little bit more into chaps and the different kinds, and even kinds, as I might have mentioned, that you can wear in the summertime that are cooler, more like a chap pant, so that you're not dealing with that. But that's my thing on the pants. Again, these are WN 600Ps. Lavonville carries them. They're $80-something right now where I can get them. They do have another version. I believe you can button the chap protection into those too, but I'm not sure. They came out with them fairly recent, and I really didn't check them. They were a little bit more, but same basic pant design, only on the leg they have a zipper and a snap, so easier to get in and out of. Those are definitely worth checking out. I suspect they're the same as these, just easier to get in and out of. And the $10 more, to me, doesn't seem like it's a big deal, especially if it has all the same features plus the ability to unzip that. I don't personally, I can see maybe having problems with that they zip up to after they get old or something like that. And I'm not saying that there is going to be those problems, but you know, I like this straight leg setup, less stuff to deal with. Keep it simple, stupid sometimes, is my motto. But I may try a pair of those and found they're awesome, and they may switch over to that kind of a setup. The other thing I'll talk about is the care of these. They are rugged, but I noticed on this pair, and maybe it's this pair, but I've had pairs in the past, the washing instructions aren't there. You are going to want to wash them. I also recommend that you get, especially if you do this, wear these things like 6 days a week or something, get more than one pair. I know that it's kind of expensive, and even if you buy another pair every year, so you get to the point where you have a few pairs, you're going to want to switch them out. They are water resistant. I don't believe they're waterproof. They're as water resistant as almost any other pair of snow pants. I'm sure that there's a pair out there that's completely waterproof, as far as snow pants are concerned. But I highly recommend that you hand wash them. I think, don't quote me on it, that you could pull out the chap inserts and you can machine wash them on gentle. Again, don't quote me on that. I don't have the instructions here. I just wash them by hand in the tub and use Woolite. But I will tell you that you definitely want to drip dry them. You do not want to put them in the dryer. Do not put them in the dryer. And I highly recommend hand washing them. Personally, and I recommend having more than one pair if you're going to be wearing them continuously, day after day. If you're someone that just goes out on the weekends with them, you could get away with one pair. If you don't care, you can get away with one pair, but in the long run, I think you'll be happier and it'll last longer if you do that. If you buy more than one pair. And I guess basically that's it. I wish I could convey better to you how nice they are to have, how much of a difference it makes in cold weather like that. But that's just one of my weapons against the cold. So hope that helps